Good morning, friends. Hope you all are doing well. Today, we will discuss on impact analysis of TR, nothing but transport request movement in SAP PRD system. So, today we will go through this topic in detail in the upcoming slides, and we will understand lot of things attached to it which will be useful in terms of understanding what all things a transport request can do in SAP PRD system and why it is very important for any client or any project, irrespective of whether it is implementation project or even a support project. I will say for support project it is even more crucial, not just for implementation project, right? So let us understand further, but before I move further, this is my humble request to all of you that please like this video, subscribe my YouTube channel, share this video in your circle, spread the words, let people be aware that what all things they need to do with regard to the transport movement in the SAP system. This is not a simple process, though the process is very simple. Sometimes impact becomes much more critical, and if it goes good, nobody remembers, and if it goes wrong, nobody forgets. That is how it works. So let's move further and see and understand how these things actually happen in the real time. If you see in a picture, a small crater kind of image is being pasted over here in this slide, and this is put up intentionally to show what an impact can do in the SAP system if it does not go well with the system, or if it does not gel with the system, rather I will say. TR movement is very common in the SAP system for any kind of config related changes or any kind of technical related changes. These two things will always move in the SAP system via TR only. So we'll see what all things we have in the scope of this particular presentation and what all things are there which will be covered into it to understand the overall scenario. Let's move further. So these are the contents which we are going to discuss as a part of this video. Transport request in the SAP system, what is called as TR or transport request or customizing request or workbench request, or there are so many things in it, right? So we will go through all these things. Then we will also understand what all the variety of transport requests are available in the SAP system, how this TR movement process gets defined for a particular client, how it moves, what all the steps are there involved into it. Then we will also see the TR movement impact in the SAP environments, which environment will get impacted the least and which environment will get impacted the most, and what will be the implications of such kind of impact. Simply meaning the costing of the mistakes. What will be the cost if any mistake or any error happens? Then we will also discuss on how and what we can do to prevent the wrong impact of TR movement in the SAP system. We will also talk on my personal opinion or personal view on this impact analysis of TR movement in SAP system, and finally we will conclude this entire presentation with my conclusion points, closing points, and what are the tips one should always keep in mind while dealing with any kind of transport request in the SAP system. Hope the content is clear to you. Let's move further. If you see in this particular picture or in this particular slide, I have given a total of 3 images over here. The right hand side, the first image on the top, clearly shows what is called as impact and how the impact happens and what all things it can do and how we can prevent for impacting it further. How can we prevent it from impacting it further? So somewhere we have to stop it, right? By any means. In this image it has been stopped by using the hand in between, because small wooden planks were falling down, one leads to another, and it got stopped by putting one hand between the wooden planks, and then that has stopped further falling it down. Similar way, on the right hand side bottom image is simply saying that what is SAP change impact analysis, what we should do, what we should not do, what are points to be kept in mind while dealing with such kind of events, activities, situations, circumstances. And on the left hand side, the big image what we have that clearly says what all steps we have in particular with respect to the impact analysis. What all the stages are there for impact analysis? For example, identify vulnerable process, means you need to identify the process which is which can be impacted from the change, which has a potential to get impacted by the change which we are implementing. Then next step would be you need to analyze what kind of potential loss it can throw in the picture. That means what are basically the risk factors in the other terminology I will say. Next would be if anything goes wrong, how you are going to recover it. What will be the mitigation steps? What all steps you will do to prevent it from happening, or how you are going to recover it. Basically it is like kind of disaster recovery process kind of thing. If anything goes wrong, how you will fix it, how you are going to fix it, how you are going to revert back to the previous system status. Next would be then implement the solution which you have suggested, and finally whatever activities you did, ensure that you are documenting it. Documentation must be in place for two purposes. First, to keep a record of what all has happened and how it was fixed. Second, it is also many a times a compliance issue for many clients, because they always want to keep a track of what all things are happening in the system, why it is happening in the system, and what can be done to prevent it in future to happen it further. So all these things are there, and all these things basically forms the part of impact analysis. And in our topic we have the point which we are going to discuss is how this impact will take place in the SAP system, mainly in the production. But remember one thing, impact doesn't happen always in the production only. It can literally happen into any system, wherever it is, does not matter. It has a potential to have an impact. That's what I mean by that. Let's move further. So first, let us all understand what is a TR or transport request. And I have attached one picture also as the bottom, and I am sure most of the you people must have seen also in the system whether it is a dummy or real. If you have created any kind of transport request in the system, you must have seen this screen as well. This screen belongs from SE09 or SE10 transaction code. You can check from there. So a transport request or change request is nothing but a container of changes made in the development system. A transport request typically records the type of change, the purpose of transport, request category, and the target system where it is finally supposed to go. Remember one thing, when you are practicing in a dummy system, you have only one system where you do all your activities and keep on saving all your changes in a single TR, and probably you never release it. Even if you release it, it is not going anywhere. Why? Because no other system is connected to that system. But in real time situation is not like that. There also you can find some independent system from the any kind of other system landscape. For example, sandbox system. It will have everything, but it is not directly connected to any other system. It can be refreshed, but they are again, as I said, not connected as such. But if you talk about configuration pipeline, I mean development, quality, and production, these all systems, irrespective of what all it has, will get connected and will have impact as well. Very, very important. So each TR contains one or other more change jobs, also known as change task, which is a minimum unit of transportable change. Tasks are stored inside a TR just like multiple files are stored in some folders. TR can be released only once. All the tasks inside a TR are completed, released, or deleted, as the case may be. TR is used for all kind of purposes, not only to add something in the config. Sometimes the TR can be also used to remove something from the config. It goes either way around. So we need to ensure that part. I hope this point is clear, but just to give you a few more informational points on this topic. In every TR you will find two nodes. One is called as parent node, one is called as child node. So, and the main TR will be always only one, but the task under it, you can have multiple tasks and you can have single task as well. That choice is up to the person. Whenever we create TOC, otherwise also called as transport of copies, that time we don't copy the main TR. We always copy the objects under sitting under a particular given TR, and that TOC we release it to the next system. In our case, if we are releasing it from the development, it will first go to the quality, and then from quality it will further go to the production system based on the system process which is being mapped in it. Hope this point is clear to you. Let's move on to the next slide. So what all variety of transport requests we have available in the system? There are two important and major categories. One is called as workbench request, another is called as customizing request. Workbench request is mainly for the technical people. I mean ABAP, BASIS, PI, PO, BODS, Fiori consultants, and then there are many more. But customizing request will be mainly for the functional consultants like FI, CO, PP, PS, PM, SD, PP, QM, and so on. And one picture also is attached from the same SE10 screenshot or SE09 screenshot, which is clearly showing what is a customizing request and what is a workbench request. Though not a full complete example, but just to give you some heads on. So let us understand and let me read out. Workbench request contains repository objects and also cross-client customizing objects. These requests are responsible for making changes in the ABAP workbench objects. That's why I was saying the technical objects. Customizing request contains objects that belong to client-specific customizing. As per client settings, these requests are automatically recorded when users perform customizing settings, and a target system is automatically assigned as per the transport layer if defined. A target system is automatically assigned if a transport layer is defined in the system. So these are the two important types of transport requests we have available in the system, which is used very frequently. Moving on to the next. So as you know, in the SAP system configuration pipeline, also called as system landscape, for which I have already created a video earlier. If you want to know more about system landscape part, you can go to my YouTube channel and search for the video and watch it from there. It will explain you in and out about the system landscape. But here we will talk about TR movement process in the SAP system related to development system to quality system, and then from quality system it goes to the production system. So movement from one step to the next step to the next step. Configuration always happens in the development system in the golden client. From there usually it transfers to the unit testing of the development system, where initial round of testing happens. Once the initial round of testing is successful, then the same TR is being either released to the quality system, or you can create a TOC and move it to the quality system. And in the quality system again you will do the testing. After doing the testing, what you will do is you will create a document for UAT and will send it to the business user for approval. And once the business user checks it out, finds everything is working fine as per his requirement, whatever he has explained at the time of request, every objective of that particular change is meeting its intended objective, he will confirm that yes, the results looks fine, please proceed to move ahead into the production system. That is how they will confirm you via email. And you should always take such kind of confirmations over the email only. Never take oral confirmation with regard to the user acceptance test. Otherwise, if things go wrong, you can even lose your job. So be careful, don't play with the fire. The fire has the full potential to burn you properly. So don't allow fire to burn in any given situation. Then once approval comes, then you will inform to the basis team, and as per the client defined process, these changes will move into the SAP production system as per the defined timelines and as per the defined process. Remember, this process of TR movement is different from client to client. Not every client follows the same exact process. In some clients, these kind of processes are done by purely by the basis team. The functional or technical team only saves their changes on a given TR. In some organizations, they are allowed to create a TR in the system, but they are not allowed to release it. The releasing and other things are given to the basis team, that authorization. But in some clients, you will have all authorizations all the way till quality, including creation and release, but it will not go to the production system without the help of basis team most of the times. Usually, some people will be always given designated authorities to do this work. Hope till now it's been clear to you. That is why I have given an image which clearly says transport request management real time process. This is the real time process. One very important point which I would like to tell to all the people is whenever you are making any changes, two documents you must prepare with proper inputs. First, what kind of configuration changes you have done, what you did, what you have created newly, what you have added something in the config box. It should have complete details along with relevant screenshots. That will be considered as your config document. And when you do the testing in your development environment and later on or even in the qualities environment, ensure that you are documenting that as well with the screenshots and the transaction codes and other relevant details. These three documents must be added up in the change request which was raised by the business users to ensure that all documentary evidence is added for the UAT approval process, and once the UAT is approved, you can proceed with further steps to move it ahead with production system. So this is all about the TR movement process in SAP system. Let's move on to the next slide. If you see in this picture, this I have taken from S4 HANA cloud version, and this is how the TR movement happens. One very important thing you have to keep in mind is unless you release your transport request from the development system, it will not go to the SAP production system. It will not even go to the quality system. For quality, you can use TOC also, but for production, you never use a TOC to move into the production. TOC means transport of copies. Now, so here if you see in this particular picture, you have development system, you have test system, and you have production system, and the changes are moving from one system to another, from another to another, and then from another to another. and finally it is reaching in the production system. The picture is very clear. I hope you don't have any confusion on it. If you get any confusion on it, then put up your comments in the comment section of this video, and I will definitely try to reply you on that. Let's move ahead as of now. So, how the TR movement impact will happen in the various SAP environments which we generally use in any kind of SAP projects, whether it is a support project or it is an implementation project, rollout project, enhancement project, or a mini project, as the case may be, because the variety of projects in SAP system are literally too many. So let us first understand in the development system how the impact will look like. And you will say, why system will have impact in the development system where we are doing a configuration? Yes, sometimes it happens. I have seen it. Golden client probably may not have impact where you do the configuration, where the master data and transaction data is usually kept at minimum. Rather, I will say people always try to avoid creating any kind of master data or transaction data in the golden client. But then they move these changes to the unit testing client in the development system most of the time. So if they move it there, and there, because of this TR movement, some functionality stops working, what it will be called as? It will be called as impact of TR movement in the SAP system, a development system or unit test system of the development system in the SAP pipeline, SAP configuration pipeline. So here system impact would be less, but business impact would be very less. Why business impact would be very less? Rather, I will say it is a nil impact. You can ask why nil impact? Because it is not stopping any of the ongoing running business activities in the SAP production system. That is why business impact is usually nil. Now let's talk about quality system, the middleman sitting between development and production system. So at this place, the system impact compared to the development system would be definitely more, because most of the interfaces are also connected from the quality system only. Rarely I have seen that somebody is attaching their interfaces with the development system as well, and production system anyway it will have for sure. So the system impact, if anything goes wrong in the quality, it will be wrong, because many testing happens over there, not only by one team but across the teams. But still here business impact would be minimum to the nil. Why? Still you have not moved to the production system, but sometimes what can happen is some of the testings or some of the scenarios may not work as expected. So in that case what you have to do is, and sometimes even if business user is trying to test some scenario and due to the TR movement if it is not working fine, then they will get back to you saying that, boss, I am trying to test this scenario but it is not working. But still it will have less business impact because you have so far not touched the real business process, real business data, digital master data or transaction data. So far you have not touched at all. That's why impact is minimum to nil. Now coming to the production system, this is the place where you will see the maximum impact of the system if anything goes wrong. Think of a scenario because of a TR movement, all of a sudden if system starts giving an ABAP dump while creating a sales order process, what will happen? And will client accept such kind of scenarios. They will sit on your head and will ensure that their issues are getting addressed with the utmost priority without any failure. That definitely they will be ensuring it. And any kind of disturbances happening due to the TR movement in the SAP production system will also carry the maximum business impact. Sometimes this impact can be in terms of delayed payment, penalties, various kinds of fines, delay in the execution of law, all of related business processes, delay in the delivery of goods, delay in the delivery of services. There are so many things which can get delayed if things go wrong in the production system. And not just in SAP system, it can very much have impact on all other connected systems as well. Many a times, if you don't take care of it, it will start taking care of yourself and will ensure that you do not remain in the job for long. So, if such a situation comes, you should know how to mitigate such kind of things in hand and what all things can be done in order to sort out such kind of issues. Like what you should do, how do you do to get it done. Let's move further. So far we have seen various kind of risks. Now we will see what one kind of risk involved and what we should do to mitigate them. If you see the picture, arrows are getting shot at from all possible angles, right? The process of TR movement is simple. The implications of TR movement can be sometimes very critical. It has all kind of risks. It can spoil your entire system if you don't deal with it properly. It has the potential to spoil not just SAP system but other systems as well. Remember, in real life, in real world, most of the companies use multiple systems. They don't use only SAP systems. No doubt SAP is one of their most important databases what they have. No doubt about it. But SAP will not be the only whole and soul business process defined. Okay. So any disruption on the ongoing activities in the SAP production will throw up a risk to the business. It will throw a risk for the continuity of the business or the company, and it will be considered as a very negative impact. And what all approaches you can apply to mitigate or to reduce the impact of such kind of risky things? What all steps you will do? How? What all steps you will perform? So today let me give you one example to explain this so that you understand the scenario in a better way. Think of a Geo network. I'm talking about the mobile network, right? We have Reliance Geo. Think for a moment that this Reliance Geo mobile on a given day suddenly stops working. The network is not getting connected. You are not able to send the SMS. You are not able to send the WhatsApp chats. Your internet is not working. SMS phone calls not working, and many other things also not working. Network signal strength very poor. What you will do? First you will try from your end. You will reboot the system. You will do you sorry reboot your phone and all other activities which you feel that can probably sort out the issue. You will do that first, and still if it doesn't solve, you will immediately dial the customer care number and This will not happen with just one person. Whoever is facing this kind of issue at that point of time across geo network, wherever it is, everybody's reaction will be more or less same only. So in that case, the number of calls at the call center of the company will increase drastically. Everybody will log a complaint. The complaint will reach to the higher management. They will take action on it, and then they will coordinate with the teams to get it sorted out as soon as possible. Because if it is delayed for long, then the users who are not happy with your services will switch to the competitors. It can be either Vodafone or Airtel in case of India. If it is outside, then whatever options are available, they will choose from other options. Why all these things are happening? Because something has moved into the production system. It has spoiled the setup something. Now it is not working as it is supposed to work, and because of that customers are unhappy with your services, and then they are doing a switchover. I hope this point is also clear to you. So this is the mitigation of risk. This is why this is very important. Now what one can do to prevent such kind of incidents happening with more specific reference to the SAP production system or SAP live system. What you can do? First, you have to define a robust process for transport movement from one system to the another system to the finally to the SAP production system. If your process is not clearly defined, people always will have confusion, and if by mistake somebody moves some TR which are not supposed to be moved in the SAP production system, then what all things it can do for your system only time can tell you. The first event ticket of my life which I have seen few years back was also of such kind of things only, and it was so horrible that I cannot explain you. That time I did not had enough experience, but I still remember the incident which has happened, and I was the one who was coordinating for that P1 ticket. It was actually a P1 ticket because it has stopped business completely. That bad it was. So it is very important to have a defined process for TR movement. You should also have multi-level verification and approvals from various streams to ensure that the compliance are all met, and any TR which is not approved, which is not verified, which is not checked thoroughly are not moving into the production system directly. The process will not let it go further. That's why I am saying multi-level verification process and approvals must be in place. A proper and suitable testing process based on the nature of changes. What I mean by that is what kind of changes you are doing. Based on that, you have to define your testing strategy. Remember, testing results are very critical, very crucial for the company to deal with it. Suppose it is a normal configuration, do a proper testing. Create the configuration document, create the unit testing document, take the consent from the business user, show it to them. If they are confused, explain them properly, and never ever try to deviate from the process which is being defined for the TR move. If you deviate, then lot of things can happen all the way till termination of the job and even going behind the bars. all the way it can go up to that limit. It has the very good potential to do like that. At least up to the termination, definitely I have seen from my eyes. That much only I can tell you. Hope you understand. Then proper documentation of changes for the record purpose also. And even at future, if somebody comes and see, wants to check what change this was all about, the documentation will serve its purpose. Ensure that whatever incidents has happened in the past are also properly documented, so that if new member joins in your team, how they will learn how the impact analysis happens. If you explain them one real incident, not only they will remember, they will also understand the actual scenario, what all things it can do. And finally, in spite of taking all precautions, still if the incident happens, ensure that a thorough root cause analysis is being conducted on the SAP system to find out what was the cause of the event which had happened, how event unfolded, and what did you do to finally fix it, and finally how it got sorted out, and what all further steps you can take in order to prevent it happening in future. All these things will be included in your RCA document. RCA document is not a joke, it is a very, very important document from the business point of view. It goes into the audit as well, just to let you know. So, prevention of wrong impact in the SAP system, if you take care of all these above steps, it will ensure that your system is running optimally most of the time. Moving on to the next slide. What will be the cost of TR movement impact? A very, very typical question, rather, I would say. The cost can be zero, and the cost can be the entire company's brand image, the sales, the revenue, and lot of things also can be negatively impacted, all thanks to the TR movement process at times depending on situation to situation. It can have nil impact also, and it can have all impact also. Only time will tell you what all impact it has. And if you see the picture which is being added up here in this particular slide, it has a ripple effect, right? It is spreading up, like you drop some drops on a bucket of water. It will show the ripple impact, right? So this is what is being shown over here. So sometimes we don't understand the whole impact of it, but when the situation happens, it can really become sometimes tragic. One issue will lead to another issue will lead to another issue, and it will run like a chain reaction, and where it will go and where it will end, sometimes very, very difficult to quantify and identify as well. So keeping all these parameters in mind, it is always safe to follow the process thoroughly, and do not try to cut short the process. If you try to cut short the process, there is a fair amount of chance that you will end up into trouble. If you want trouble to follow you, you can cut short the process. Choice is all yours. Now, coming to what is my personal opinion on this impact analysis of TR movement. So, what is the nature of TR? Nature of TR means whether it is a customizable TR or a workbench TR. From my understanding perspective, Your workbench TR are more typical for the impact analysis point of view. Your regular TR also should be thoroughly tested, checked, verified, configured, and documented, and follow the process along with the approval. Always take UAT confirmation over the email. Do not miss out on this. Otherwise, sometimes if the things will go wrong, you will end up in the soup and you will not have any other choice but to leave your job. So, don't, just because the process is simple, don't take it for granted. If the simple situation becomes complicated, then what all things it can do, it's very hard to imagine. So be careful with that part. Very, very important. So any kind of customizing request should be tested, and any kind of workbench request, any kind of form changes, or maybe report changes, or maybe IDOC related changes, maybe document type related changes, and so on. The list is very, very long, but all such kind of things need to be tested very deeply and try to cover up as many business scenarios as possible without missing on any of these things. If you miss out, trouble is there waiting for you. Now, if any component is related to the integration aspect, I mean, if something you are changing with regard to FIMM integration, FISD integration, FIPP or PS integration, or anything in the material master or things like that, remember one thing, these are all very, very critical components in the SAP system. Things can go wrong from here too much. So if it is integration related any item, please do a thorough testing, very, very thorough testing. Even if business users are putting pressure on you, don't skip your testing. Still you need to do the testing. As I said, follow the process. If you cut short the process, it might cut short your job also, because that time user will not come forward to save you. You will just lose it. So whenever integration aspect is involved, testing need to be in more detail. Next, testing plan must be based on the business scenario. Which business scenario you are testing? If it is normal GL to GL posting, do a proper testing. If it is creation of sales order, do a proper testing. And if it is end-to-end scenarios, again do a proper testing. So what kind of configuration you are doing, or what kind of technical changes you are doing, your entire testing plan must be completely dependent on the kind of changes you are going to make in the SAP system. If testing will not cover up all possible scenarios, then the chances of going wrong in the production system will be very, very high. And even if one high is there, then lot of other things also can follow you up after that. Ensure that all the stakeholders, from the client side, from your management side, to all the important business users, everybody is involved about the kind of changes you are going to deploy in the production system, at what point of time, on which date, what time. All these things matters, and this information need to be given well in advance to all the concerned parties. Any kind of critical changes. What do you mean by critical changes? There are a lot of things in the system, I consider them as a critical changes. For example, if you make any changes with regard to the decimal settings for a country, it will have a cascading impact. Usually these things are not touched and changed frequently. If you do, you are basically inviting a trouble. This I just gave one example. There can be many such scenarios. Suppose there is a custom report and you are going to make any changes into that, and that report suppose is very critical to the client, and if that report after moving the changes in the production system, if it goes wrong, you can easily imagine what all things can happen after that. They will say who was the person who tested it, and if you are the one, you then lot of things will follow you. If you want that to happen, try doing it. You will yourself see how many things are following you up after that. Okay, that is why I'm saying critical changes must not be done in a hurry in the production system. These Please exercise extra caution when dealing with such kind of critical changes. And any kind of critical changes will have impact into too many things at one go. It will not hit at only one place. It will hit at 100 places at one go, and it will be very difficult to handle such kind of situations. You also need to keep all the required approvals and documentations in place just to ensure that you are meeting the audit compliance, and you are also meeting the business process related requirements, and you are verifying that you did your job with the utmost professional manner. If you keep all the required approvals and documentation in place, this is what exactly it will mean. And never try to circumvent the defined process for a TR movement. Never ever do that. Why? Because when things are going right, people will not disturb you. And if things go wrong, they are not going to leave you as well. And in SAP system, as we all know, we mostly work on the ad hoc basis. I hope people know what is the meaning of ad hoc. Ad hoc means on emergency basis, on war footing basis, on a contingency basis. Do you know that when any kind of important changes goes live, usually it is being deployed on Friday. Do you understand why it is being deployed on Friday evening or maybe little late? These things are done only to avoid when the critical changes are moving into the production system. They want to ensure that there is the least number of users available in the production system logged in at that point of time, so that people do not feel any kind of inconvenience if anything goes wrong. And not only that, if at all something goes wrong, they will have enough time before the system users are back to the system on Monday. They will have enough time in hand to fix it out if at all something goes wrong. Usually any kind of go live events always happens either at the month end or at the year end, as is the case may be. Year end is even more beneficial. It is easy approach rather, I will say, compared to if you are declaring your system production during the year basically. And even in the year also, they usually try to prefer it doing it at the month end. They don't do it at the mid of the month most of the time. So these things are not made overnight. These things take time, and then that's how these things are all defined. So if you follow all these processes, it will ensure that you are in the right shape and you are doing your job with all the precautions in place. And in spite of that, if things sometimes go wrong, at least bare minimum your job will remain safe if you have all the process related documentation in place. Okay, let's move to the next. Now finally we have come to the conclusion of this particular video. What time the TR movement is going to take place is very important. If it is a customizing TR which does not have any dependency on other objects, I think these kind of things can be imported into the system at any point of time. It will not create any havoc. But if a TR is very critical in nature, if a TR is having too many objects, if a TR is containing any custom objects, then please handle with more care. Try to release these kind of changes only at the weekend. It is very safe to do at that point of time because it will have a minimum business impact if at all it comes, and you will have enough time to fix it up. So timing of the TR movement, this is why it really matters. Not only that, if things go wrong, you also must have a backup plan if things are going wrong or if things goes wrong. This also you have to plan well in advance, that if things will go wrong, what will be our next action to mitigate the challenges thrown by the particular incident. If it is a custom object, try to test as many scenarios as possible without fail. This is very important. I have seen when people don't test it properly, then all kind of escalations, or rather I will say the client escalations, they have to deal with it. They can't run away from it. Particularly the management side, all seniors will listen from the client very nicely if the juniors working under them are not working properly, and if they do not take. And one more thing, what I have seen many a times is many junior level consultants or mid level consultants do not take their seniors into confidence. They think that they can also work fully independently without understanding the implication of the changes which they are making in the system. Rather, I will say you may not trust them, that is fine, but you are not informing them also properly, and you are not approaching them for the guidance is not correct. They have not become seniors overnight, and if they haven't become seniors overnight, they must have some experience which you will not have. It will take you years to gain that kind of experience, because experience is not something you can buy or sell in the market. So you have to share all the relevant information to all the relevant people, inform them, and take the guidance if you are unclear about something. Do not assume in case of a TR movement, it can be really fatal to the system. And remember, in SAP production system, it is not about only SAP production system. SAP production system will be connected with another 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 of other systems. If SAP system gets impacted, then we don't know how many other systems also can get impacted because of this impact. So it will have a ripple effect. In some of my previous slides, I have shown you ripple effects, right? Same situation will occur, and in that case, nobody will come forward to save you. That is why SAP jobs are very serious in nature by default. That is their default settings. You have to be careful, you have to be on your toes at any point of time. This is not a cakewalk. This is a serious walk, and you have to walk the talk. What you talk, you have to do as well. So, to conclude, let me just revise the important points which we have discussed throughout the video. Point number one, TR is a kind of container which carries the settings from one system to another, and it has important two types: customizing TR and workbench TR. Then every client will have a process a defined process to move these TR from development to the quality and then from quality to the production. This process must be followed properly. The mistakes or the impact of TR movement to the production system. If all goes well, nobody cares, and if things go wrong, nobody leaves as well. So you have to play the game of TR movement very safely by taking all the safety precautions in place. Otherwise, anything can happen. And if you take all the precautions in place, you will ensure that you are safe, your job is safe, your company is safe, and your growth also is safe. Everything will be safe if you take the due caution. Let's move further. If you have any questions related to this topic, anything which you want to have or you want to understand, or something which I have explained during the presentation, but you have a question related to that, please feel free to ask your questions, or you can even drop me an email. I will definitely try to respond you by email as well. Moving to the next slide. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube channel, watching this video. Kindly like and subscribe my YouTube channel. Share this video in your network with your peers, with your colleagues. Spread the word that TR movement, though it is a simple process, but sometimes it can be a very costly process as well. So always give the TR movement process its due consideration. This is very important. Otherwise, when you will see it happening in front of your eyes, probably that time you will correlate with what I said during this entire discussion, that anything can happen after that. The case in which I was talking about, where P1 ticket was raised, it was horrible, and I was the one who was handling the communication part of the particular incident. It was a P1 ticket, the first P1 ticket of my life, and till date, that kind of ticket I have never seen after that date. Probably I was lucky enough to see P1 ticket. Usually P1 ticket people don't see in the real life, in the real time situation as well. Most of the people don't get to see that, what is called as P1 ticket. I have seen that. So my friends, that's it from my end for the day. Thank you once again for your time listening me patiently, and feel free to shoot out your queries, like and subscribe this video, put your comments. Wish you all a very happy Sunday ahead. Good day. Bye bye.